Our devotional thought from the New Testament today begins in the book of Matthew. And for lack of better terms, I want to talk to you about the church before the cross. Sometimes consciously or unconsciously, we bow to our theology and we begin to think, well, the church did not exist until Jesus breathed on the apostles the breath of life in John 20, verse 22, or the church did not exist until the coming of the Holy Spirit in Acts. But brothers and sisters, I want you to notice how Jesus talks about the church. And he uses the Greek word ecclesia, which is always translated church or gathering together. Matthew chapter 18, beginning with verse 15. Jesus said, if another believer sins against you, go privately and point out the offense. Not Facebook, go privately. And if the other person listens and confesses it, a confession means to agree with and say the same thing as, okay, you're back in agreement, what they did to you was wrong. You have won that person back. But if you are unsuccessful, take one or two others with you and go back again, so that everything you say may be confirmed by 2 or 3 witnesses. If the person still refuses to listen, take your case to the church, to the ecclesia. Then if he or she won't accept the church's decision, treat that person as a pagan or a corrupt tax collector. I tell you the truth, whatever you forbid on earth will be forbidden in heaven, and whatever you permit on earth will be permitted in heaven. I also tell you this, if two of you agree here on earth concerning anything you ask, my Father in heaven will do it for you. For where 2 or 3 gathered together as my followers, I am there among them. Now, brothers and sisters, I want you to notice that church is where disagreements are to be brought. If you got a problem with somebody, you bring it to the church. You sit down. First, you talk to them. And then you talk to them with a few friends. And I would always suggest one of their friends and one of your friends, kaya, it's not all stacked against somebody. And then if that doesn't work, then you bring it before the church. But notice Jesus talks about the church. He talks about the church before the cross. And he makes the most beautiful promise to us. He said, where 2 or 3 gather together, where 2 or 3 gather together as my followers. We're not gathered together to drink. We're not gathered together to go bowling. We're not gathered together to play video games. But if your sole purpose, the only reason you have come together is to be as his followers, he said, I am there among them. Now, beloved, he's making a great promise for church. And I know people are going to get upset with me for saying this, but you know what? Truth is truth. Everybody wants to talk about the new paradigm, the new church model of everything is online and we don't need buildings anymore and we just meet together online. And you know, forgive me, but I talked with a pastor friend of mine who was talking about doing this. And I say, you know, what you've done is you've spent 2 years understanding how televangelists feel. And my family does television ministry and I have too. So I understand the mentality of television ministry, where it's all about taking money in and almost no responsibilities to care for those people. But that's not church, okay? That's not church. Church is when we come together. Ecclesia literally means a people who gather together to discuss the matters of common citizenship. Our citizenship is in heaven. And Jesus said, when we come together and do that, his presence is there. Now, beloved, forgive me. I know some of you cannot get out because of lockdown. Okay, please, I get it. I understand. And please, no criticism in my heart at all. Been there, done that, understand lockdowns. But for some of you, forgive me, you can't come to church, but you can go to the shopping mall. You can't come to church, but you can go to the restaurant. You can't come to church, but you can go to work. You can't come to church, but you can go to the movies. Excuse me? What is lockdown as an excuse and what is lockdown as a reality? Now, beloved, you can't just watch church online and think that that's church. You're missing one of the greatest things about church, the presence. When we gather together in his name, there is a presence of Christ there. In Revelation 2 and 3, he talks about he walks among the lampstands. He's among us. You don't get that sitting at home watching online. Please, let's get out of online and get back in God's house.